Many of you will know the British Horse Society has 4 charitable aims: education, welfare, safety, access, which are all underpinned by participation. And we all know there are around about 1.4, 1.8 million people who ride regularly, and as we know, the volume of traffic and the speed on the roads has dramatically increased over the years. We've been collating statistical information involving horse riders on our roads since 2010. And there have been some 3,700 incidents that are reported to us that have involved horses, resulting in the death of 43 people and 315 horses. So this morning I'm going to talk to you about a subject that's very, very close to many of our hearts in this room, to riders, carriage drivers, and the British Horse Society, and indeed myself, all of whom are passionate about riding in the countryside and on our roads, of course. One of our charitable aims, that is access and that 2026 deadline, which of course is fundamental to riding safe routes throughout England and Wales. But first of all, let's go to our first poll for your thoughts. Here we go. Are you able to access safe roads, off-road routes from where you keep your horse without needing to travel onto a road? So that's really good news that some people can, but of course, that's why the 2026 deadline is so important for us. I'll let you, Jan, just move us on. Because there are so many routes that are currently being ridden that are likely to be lost if we don't record them by 2026. And the deadline is less than 6 years away. Only 22% of the wider public actually have the opportunity to access those routes. As many of you will know, following the Countryside and Rights of Way Act of 2000, all unrecorded footpaths and bridleways that exist on the 1st of January 1994 and still exist on the 1st of January 2026, but are not recorded, most importantly, on the definitive map, will be lost. The cut-off date to record historical rights of way is set in law, which means that those routes not recorded on a council definitive map by 2026 will be lost forever, affecting not only the 1.8 million people who ride regularly, but also the 20 million people who are regular bike riders, 9 million people who own dogs, and the numbers go on and on. And while 2026 sounds a long time in the future, over 80% of the time is already gone for us to actually register the routes. Our roads are getting busier, which means the importance of safe off-road riding is becoming increasingly urgent. Let's go to the next poll now. Is that going to pop up, Jen? Here we go. It's okay. It's great. So from where you keep your horse, can you ride a complete network of off-road routes? Again, very, very similar results, but again, not surprisingly, most people can't, and only 22% of the public rights-of-way network is available to riders. And much of this is becoming disjointed and can only be accessed by using busy roads. The British Horse Society and its volunteering access and bridleway officers and affiliated groups have already made great strides in terms of recording many miles of bridleways to date. But there is much, much more work to be done. There are thousands of miles remaining unrecorded and face the threat of being lost forever. We have an incredible team of volunteers who've been working with the BHS since before 2000. One shining example is Sylvia Briggs of the Durham 2026 Research Group. Sylvia is one of our organisers, coordinators and driving forces of a group of volunteers based in County Durham and was recognised by our volunteering awards back in November. Sylvia and her fellow volunteers are working their way systematically through the county, gathering evidence and submitting statutory applications to Durham County Council. And by last autumn, Sylvia and her team had actually applied for 61 applications, and Sylvia herself had done 21, which was staggering. So this is one fantastic example we have, and we have many, many more. And I really want to thank our 300 volunteers across England and Wales. However, our vision is to have a volunteer in every parish working on access and safe riding routes. We are very grateful for the funding received from Sport England through our association with the BEF. Sport England's contribution to supporting safe riding routes and access has come to £250,000, which again we're very, very thankful for. From our own charity funds, we've recently appointed an additional 4 members, so that brings 6 to our team that are employed by the BHS working on this programme. So I'd encourage everybody to please find out how you can help to increase safe riding routes in your local area and go to our British Horse Society Access 2026 webpage. Lots of useful information about the 2026 deadline, along with a really practical toolkit, which includes a step-by-step guide to identify vulnerable routes, and all the associated research and evidence gathering information is there. Some of our access volunteers have developed some of the most amazing skills and capability, and has been a fabulous experience for them. Lastly, let's take a look at this route here in Oxfordshire, known as Occupation Lane, which is an excellent example of a route that we would have been lost had it not been for our access officer in Oxfordshire. The council has carried out clearance work on the route, and it's once again been enjoyed by not just our horse riding community, but by walkers and cyclists. We need to save more safe riding routes, just like this one. Please get behind our campaign. Once again, this year we'll be delivering our Ride Out UK campaign to bring together thousands of riders to raise more funds to support safe riding routes. Please do your very best and join one of our rides if you can. Your favourite routes can be at risk and in danger of literally disappearing in under 6 years' time if we don't all act now. To use another turn of phrase, we have an access and safe riding emergency on our hands. Please remember, 43 people, 315 horses in the last 10 years have died, because we really are looking to call on the government, and we welcome the Minister's news today, to extend the recording of the period from 2026 to 2031 for the benefit and safety of all horse riders. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.